stand on the first step.
Oh, I mean, I'm not going to say garden gnome, but I'm sorry.
Now that's just tacky. You shouldn't make fun of short people. That's just
Oh, I
wrong.
know, I know.
That's just
Well,
wrong.
I mean, I semi look like a garden gnome next to some people. I
Hi,
did.
everybody. We are glad you are here. Welcome to
Hey.
the Dynamic Blue O Thursday Night Live show.
Thursday Night Live, and I'm wearing blue, 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 blue.
Me
Everything's
too.
blue. You
Me
know
too.
what's funny when I go around just in real life, I'm sure you realize in New Hampshire is very conservative. My blue hair stands out pretty good. But it's funny how it's like Harley owners when they, or any motorcycle when they go by each other, they give each other little hands up and stuff. Well, the young girls all do that to me with the hair. They go, and so I I saw this cashier at the Hannaford yesterday, and she had just a blue streak. And she said, what did she say? Oh, she wasn't being that friendly, but so I wasn't going to do anything, and I just went. And she said, "I see that you went all in," and I said, "Yes, I went the full Monty," and then I realized that was wrong.
Yeah, that's a different
So,
term.
right. So I said, "Oh no, I don't mean that. I mean, yeah, the curtains don't match the carpet." See, I knew you were gonna die over that one. Yeah, here we go.
Oh, I hope the people will start putting comments in now so that we can change the subject.
Yeah, I was at a loss of what to say to her, but she she thought it was funny that I was all blue because she mostly
Right,
sees streaks in the hair. That's what she said.
right.
But I'm an all or nothing type of gal, really. So, so right. And I always wear the bracelet. I've got mine off because I gave it to somebody. And that's what I do now is give them the one I'm wearing, which seems weird. I wouldn't have thought that some people would want it. They'd be like, "Oh, you sweated on that," but no, people are just like, "Oh, awesome, thank you for the bracelet." So,
I think I have just a few left. If you get in the situation and I need to mail something out to somebody, let me know.
oh, it's the other way around. If you need more, let me know. I'm the one that got. I can keep myself in these bracelets. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing.
This is not your first rodeo.
This is not my first rodeo. Oh yeah. So anyway, what we wanted to talk about today, I want to hear your wisdom, um, more than just I'll say how when you're to me when you're with a company that has some challenges going on, I think throwing your hands up is the wrong. I mean,
Right.
unless you genuinely are not a good fit with that company, that's a whole different matter. But if they're just going through some challenges, no matter how long that's been going on, I think your best option is to find out what the part that works for you and
Sure.
keep going. And not I originally was talking to you about my core business, but even with send out cards, they had an adjustment in their pricing structure or something, and um, people are so focused on that. And I was telling my Zoom at 1 o'clock, do you know I've been with send out cards with 15 years? I've probably seen 10 different pricing options. I've been with Avon 40 years. I can't even tell you how many different comp plans, pricing options I've seen with them. What I usually do always, I can see the comments on YouTube this week. Not sure if you can see it on Facebook. Yes, Don, I can see your comment from YouTube. It has the little thing on it.
Very cool. I
So,
can't see anything, so
oh
you'll
no,
you'll have to relay
okay,
message.
I will. uh, but so what I was telling them at the 1 o'clock is, for me personally, when something comes up like a change, I don't think about what they could have done or what they should have done. I think about what they did, what it is, how I'm going to use it to benefit me, and how I'm going to present it to my customers and team members. I'm not thinking about whether it's good or bad. I'm not thinking about what they should have done. Because I think that's funny. I heard some guy say you should all over your business.
Right.
And that's not, you don't get to, this isn't a voting situation. We don't own these companies. Most of us are independent reps. We're not even employees. So the best we can do, I think. So do you think I'm handling that right, or how do you handle that kind of stuff?
You're definitely handling it the way that I would. There's an old book, and I apologize. I can't remember who the author was, but basically the point of the book, and maybe even the title, was "Don't sweat the small stuff," and it's all small stuff.
Yeah.
Because what sometimes people will have happen, and it's understandable. When you look at the neurology of our brain, it's very understandable because of how the emotions connect with logic, and it produces the decision for whatever's going forward. But it would the equivalent of someone not doing anything because of a little challenge in delivery or a little challenge in inventory or whatever it may be. And really, it could even be a bigger challenge.
Yeah.
But when you let that stop you from building your business, then what you're in essence doing is the equivalent of you're getting ready to go walk for 10 miles and you stub your toe on your front door and you get back in the house and sit down because I'm not going on any walk because I just stumped my toe. Now, granted, this was probably more the equivalent of someone else stepping on your toe, but it's the same principle. And
Right.
so, just if
Don
you,
said Richard Carlson is who wrote that book.
okay, great, thanks, Don. But the key is if you've got a goal that you're trying to do, then you adapt to whatever's going on at the time, and that's not to minimize the fact that it means something to you when it's happening. I get that, but if you allow the way that it's affecting you inside to stop you from moving forward, then you're defeating your purpose and you're perpetuating a negative state in your body, and it's not a good thing.
You know what I was trying to explain that I find a hard time getting everybody to realize is that as independent contractors or salespeople from in the field, we don't see the whole puzzle. So, for an example, Avon's roll-on deodorant. Now, when I sold a gazillion of those back in the 1980s, they were $1.29 full price, 99 cents sale price, right?
Mhm.
Right now, they're like 159 or 69. That's all these years later, 40 years later. And they're going up to, I think it's 329 regular price or something like that, or 399 regular price. And some of these guys are losing their mind and quitting over it. But we can't, how can we expect 40-year-old prices to stay there? And we can't expect the company to carry a product that they're not making enough margin on. And they're
Right.
not, and because they have us, they have to make their margin, and our margin has to fit in the plan. And that's how they determine the retail price. I don't think any of these guys are gouging us. I think we can't expect 40-year-old prices to stay all these years later when gas is almost $4 a gallon for starters.
Well, I think
So
40 years ago, when I was in my 20s, I think gas was about 49 cents a gallon. So
right,
that
right.
tells you prices just
Yeah,
go up, and it's part of life. But just don't let it steal your dream. Your dream's too important
right.
for that.
Well, and I think if we don't, I see so many people point out what they don't like. Like they'll say to the customer, I know these are like $3 now and they weren't before, but do you still want one? And it's like, who's saying yes to that? You know
That's
what
as
I'm saying?
that's as bad as the old close in a sales conversation. The old close where you say, "You wouldn't want to buy this, would you?"
You know, oh, you must have heard that story too, that A.L. Williams story where the guy, the farmer went door to door and he was their biggest producer. And it was because of the number of doors because he never could get the sales presentation good. He never was into all that. He'd knock the door and he'd say, "You don't want any insurance, do you?" And he asked enough that some people say, "Well, as a matter of fact, I do want insurance."
Right,
He
right.
was totally bad at it. But why go through that? Why go through that, people? Go ahead and not have a big giant opinion on the price.
Yeah,
Because I personally don't like to be the lowest price in the market, and we were for the deodorant. That makes us cheap. That
right,
doesn't make us affordable, right?
right.
We were cheaper than Dollar General for
And
deodorant.
people will pay a fair price for more service. And so
Yes.
a better customer experience, it's like we were talking last week or whenever it was about the fact that Chick-fil-A is the number one fast food franchise in America, and I think in the world, and they're literally only closed. I mean, they're only open about 85% of the time that the
The
other
other
restaurants
guys
are
are.
open, and they still beat them. And
Yeah.
it's because even though the prices are I mean, they're fair, they're neither low nor high. I guess they're a little higher than some, lower than others, but they're fair, but it's the customer experience that's so great. So when you create an experience for your customers that is the kind of interaction they would value in that relationship itself above the transaction anyway, it's a great way to do business. When Bob is talking about the laws of the go-giver and the laws of influence, and talking about your value is really more about how much you focus on the other person, you put their needs ahead of your own, and it's not some altruistic thing. It's a legitimate way to be great in business and make a lot of money, because when you're so focused on that other person, it comes across, and they begin to know you, like you, and trust you. Not only do they do business with you, they start referring you to other people as well.
What I'm reading right now is Richard Whaleman. Is it Whaleman's book?
Yeah, I
Whehlman.
think I think he pronounces it Wildman, not
Wildman.
Momans.
Okay, I knew I wasn't getting that right, but it's what is the 100 ways to customize your sales or something like that. Very good book. I love it. It's his new one.
Right.
If anyone else wants to read, I'll put that in the group. Sorry about that. So,
Yeah.
but his is like, it's all about the experience. And I agree with that. As
Absolutely.
someone who sells a commodity, I agree with that. I think the people that get caught up thinking that their stuff that their company sells is so unique, I think they're missing a trick, because
Right.
really what's unique is you. They're buying from you.
Absolutely.
Right.
They can.
Because even though your face cream may be outrageously awesome or whatever, it's still a face cream. It's a commodity that they could really, really buy somewhere else, and
Right.
easier. They could buy it easier than waiting for you. So I think in direct sales, we have to work twice as hard to make sure customers walk away wowed. I
Well,
want
and when you do
wow.
that, yeah, you've done that for decades, and it's why you were recently awarded the title of a direct sales legend, Lisa M. Wilbur.
By you. Is it by you or by Bob?
Yeah, yeah, I can't remember which one of us said it first, but it's pretty equal in how we feel about it. So
Oh, no, I think all along I felt that way, because the thing that I sell the most of was deodorant, which I know you can buy anywhere. And even something like Skin So Soft bath oil, people
right,
were using it for bug stuff. You can buy that kind of thing anywhere. And I've known all along you could buy our stuff anywhere. So for me, it was always about how am I going to get the customer liking my service enough that they're willing to wait for their order. They're willing to search me out when they could just put it in their shopping cart at the store. There
yeah,
has to be some reason, and I don't think it can just be some special ingredient in your cream. I think
right.
it has to be you bringing
You,
you. Don't you
absolutely.
think?
You are what becomes the memorable part of the equation. Anjali has a saying that she does when she's doing her training about growing your business through gratitude, and she's talking about that relationship that you have after the sale has been closed, after the transaction has happened. The relationship you have going forward is really what makes someone successful. If you stay in touch with that client, they become a customer for life, and that's what you're looking for. But her quote that I just absolutely adore is, "It's not your client's job to remember you; it's
Yeah.
your job to become unforgettable."
Oh, I love that.
And that's what
That's
you've done for
awesome.
decades, kiddo. That's why the success that you've had has happened, is because that's who you are. That's what, yeah, people won't forget you, and that doesn't get much better than that.
Well, I hope so. To me, it's something you have to think about every day. Don says, in an age of artificial intelligence and commoditizing of pretty much everything, it is essential to double down on human connection.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons I love send out cards, because it's just so easy to be personal with
Right.
that. Your own handwriting font, you can add your own picture, their picture. Yeah, that's just all of those things for me.
Hey, question for you, Don, if you don't mind answering in the chat. On Facebook, was the feed not going out like normal? I know we're going out on LinkedIn and on YouTube, but I'm
I
not sure about
no, I
Facebook.
think he's the only one I'm seeing on YouTube, and I know there's people watching on Facebook. So I think we're not seeing. And let's see, won't get
Maybe a setting
some.
that you need to
It
check
says some
for next week.
it says some destinations won't get comments. It says
Okay.
on it. So I think they're fighting with Facebook myself.
Okay. Okay.
It says Don says I'm seeing and hearing the feed, but you don't seem to be seeing chat. That's on Facebook. Yeah, we don't seem to be seeing. So I'm sorry about that, everybody. We'll go back after the show's over though and make sure we.
Hey, Don, you're a college professor. You can type quickly. Put all those comments over here so we can see them.
Oh, don't do that to Don. That's not.
No, I'm kidding, Don. I'm kidding.
You know who I was glad that was on the 1 o'clock send out cards thing was Peg, because I truthfully I'm not a detail person. You know that. You are, and she is, and I'm not. So these changes over at send out cards, I once I found out what I needed to do and what I needed to show, I no longer wanted to listen to the 2-hour presentation about them changes. I like, show me the chart. I'm done. I'm good. I got my problem solved. I'm moving along with my day. And
Right.
everybody else was like wanting all the tiny details about every little detail of the details. So I find it about 50-50. Half the people like me and half the people like you guys. So she came on the call, luckily. Oh, Don's trying. He says
He's
from Peg,
copying and pasting.
from Peg. Hey there, Lisa and Jeff. Great to be with you. Watching on LinkedIn, commenting on Facebook. Yeah, unfortunately, we're not seeing the comments on LinkedIn and Facebook for some reason. I'm only seeing the ones from YouTube. So I have to figure that out. It does give me a thing that says some destinations won't get comments because I think they're fighting with Facebook.
I just
Oh,
realized
Don said I'm copy and pasting. Go ahead.
there's a new button up here that I need to start remembering to do. I can stream this out
On your
my
stuff
channel as
too.
well.
Yeah, we're just not seeing all the comments, but it's not letting us stream to a group. That's the thing. So
So
yeah,
people have
and
to be following you on your page on Facebook or on LinkedIn to see it then.
on my wall on Facebook, yeah.
Okay.
So the other thing we were talking about is the frame. We talk about that all the time in the Go Giver thing, and so do you. So, for example, I had somebody contact me this afternoon, and she was saying she was reading one of my old books called Support, Support, Support. And back then, and this is like in the early 90s, I was saying I don't list the amount of award sales for recognition unless it's at least over 402 weeks. And she was saying to me, this is 30 years later, she's saying to me, do you still hold at the 300 or shouldn't we lower it because of our inventory problems? And I said, oh my God, no. I said, we should raise it. And I said, it doesn't have anything to do with the inventory problem. And I think actually Avon has made a mistake all along glorifying $10,000 a year in sales. Any other company would laugh a person because they're not making enough money at 10,000 to stay.
Right.
I think it should be higher. So even the 400 for a 2-week seller, that's not making hardly any money. So I think that the higher you can hold your bar for your group, it's not a selfish thing. It's a for them thing. Because if they're not going to make money, they're not going to stay.
Oh, absolutely. And it does the opposite of what people would sometimes think. Some people would worry about something like that. Well, if you raise it, less people are going to qualify. What you find out is the opposite is actually true. When you raise that bar a little bit and you say, you guys are killing it, this is what you can do, we're going to raise that bar, you still have people that the same percentage or higher that normally will hit it. And it's just a different mentality. And it's not about moving a goal post, and it's not about change for change's sake. It's about getting the most performance out of your career, and you want everybody to experience that. And if their goals are too high or too low, they can definitely have an impact. But if you're going to make a mistake, make the goals a little high and have people stretching. You'd rather
Well,
have them stretching to hit a big goal than easily jumping over a small one.
even the IRS does not require Avon to send out a 1099 if the sales are under
600.
10,000 retail,
Oh,
because
okay.
they consider that a personal shopper. So why should we be holding a $10,000 retail seller up as the creme de la creme of the company when
Right.
you won't even get a 10? You know what I mean? Any other, like if it was IBM or if it was whatever, a company that sold real stuff, like we sell real stuff, you wouldn't be glorifying 10,000 retail. I don't think you, maybe in a month, but not in 12 months. So I struggle on how to get people to realize it's not that I think you're doing a bad job not selling 10,000 or selling around 10,000, but I'm wondering if you realize how little earnings you're making at that.
The way I would work with someone in that scenario is I would say, well, let me know more about you. Let me know about your income needs. What are your income needs for the year? What are your income goals for the year from what we do? What's your goal? And get them to give you a number and then do the math and show them how much they need to sell for. That's okay. This is
Oh,
your
that's a good
target.
idea.
This will give you that income. And then you can, as they start to grow, you can adjust the math as you need to going along. But if you started it in that way based on what they want, it's no longer you trying to get them to make sales, it's you trying to help them hit the goal they want.
And Don is saying, is that like the book about 10 times being easier than 2 times? Yeah, I think so too.
To a
That,
certain extent.
yeah.
Because if you're trying to jump 10 times your business level, then you don't have time to do everything. You have to kind of just narrow down and do the important things.
And Peg says, raise the bar, all ships rise with the tide. Yeah.
I
That's,
think I've heard that that's a
I think I've
rule.
heard a rule about that. Yeah. Yeah, no, matter of fact, that's about the 10 times thing. That is certainly true because when I earned my first trip with Avon, it was more than 10 times what I'd ever done before. And to do that, I had to come up with a totally different plan. I couldn't just do what I was normally doing a little bit better, a little bit more of it. It wouldn't have worked because I needed a whole bunch more sales. I needed a huge increase in sales. And so I had to rethink the whole thing and come up with a new plan. I think that's why the 10 times is better than the 2 times because you just rehash stuff to get 2 times. But you
Right.
have to rethink the whole thing for a 10 time.
You do. You do.
Right.
And you have to know where you're getting the most return for your value, which is your effort that you're putting in, than any cash you're putting in. So you're exactly right.
Yeah. That's yeah. I hope direct sales lives long and prospers because I think for most women anyway, this has been the dream case scenario for me. I mean, I put the kid on the bus and get off the bus for the whole time, the 12 years of school. I was able to go to soccer practice and be the theater mom and all that kind of stuff because of this business, where I don't even know how I said that during the whole time I was doing it. People that had 9 to 5 jobs, they were one of the parents in our town, there's more 2-parent homes. One of the parents had to have a flexible situation because the school would routinely just say, "Oh, hey, everybody, we're letting the kids out in an hour and a half because one of the sprinklers went off or something." And you just would have no notice. You had to go get your kid. There was no way around it. And so somebody had to have a flexible job. I wonder how all of these people both worked. It was crazy.
Well,
Uh,
I've more times than I can count. I was the only dad at the school functions because uh, I had a flexible schedule and that's one of the reasons I chose the career path I did was because, I wanted that freedom. I'm much better at shaving the boss's face than kissing the boss's foot. So needed the
Well,
freedom.
Don said Teresa Cry, who's a good buddy of mine in Avon. She's not in my downline. I'm not in hers. She just happens to be a really good friend of mine. She was asking on Facebook about the 10 times thing.
Okay.
Do you want to?
Sure. There's a book out, and it's by Dan Sullivan and I don't have my book in front of me. My apologies. But I'll get this because I want you to know. Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy. It's called 10X is Easier Than 2X. And the basic premise behind the book is that it is actually easier to grow your business by 10 times than it is to simply double it. Because to grow it 10 times, you really have to find those activities that you are the most gifted at, that you are the best at, that bring the most value into your business, and focus only there. And delegate the part that's the 80% that really, you can do it, but shouldn't be the one doing it. And by doing that, your business grows faster. And because you're doing less things, it's actually easier than if you're only trying to double your business. Because if you're just trying to double your business, you're probably still wearing a lot of the same hats you've always worn. And you'll find it's a struggle when you start saying, okay, I'm only going to focus on 10X days or 10X activities, and I'm going to delegate the 2X activities. And you start doing that, and especially if you've been the one used to doing everything, you have this internal battle. My wife took over creating the workbook for the SalesWise Live event that we have coming up in Florida in June. And when she was practically begging me to let her take it because she could see me basically pulling what little hair I have or what little brown hair I have out. And I was a struggle. I didn't want to let go of it and all that, but I did. And she's taken to it, and she's making it all happen. And it's a huge weight off my shoulders. But my tendency is to say, no, that's part of my duties. I'm supposed to be doing that. And I really wasn't. So. But
no, that's good.
Yeah, if you focus on the things that bring the most value to you and to your clients, you're going to probably be right.
Oh, Debbie Britt said hi. Hey, Debbie.
Hi, Debbie.
Yeah, one of the other things, and Teresa and I talked about this before, is sometimes it's good too to go back and look at the things that were successful that you did before that somehow you got away from. So, I mean, if you're slipping a little in the numbers, make sure that the things that got you where you were, you're still doing, or a version of them. Because she was asking me about my newsletter, because I used to mail that to everybody. Obviously, I'm not doing that anymore, but I do a version of that on Facebook. Right. So, yeah.
I was at a meeting one time, and it was a bunch of Aflac state managers and TDs, and somebody was talking about a particular subject that we used to really excel at, and they were talking about the fact that we weren't making the numbers anymore, and it was because we changed how we were doing stuff. It wasn't me this time, but somebody said, yeah, it worked so well, we stopped doing it, and then they yelled an expletive after that.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Although, I catch myself doing that too. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, yeah, I was really doing that every time. And then I stopped for some reason. I never took it back up.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think you have to be constant about it. Debbie Britt said, I love the story about Michelangelo chipping away everything that wasn't David.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that too. That's
awesome. If you ever get the chance to go to Italy, especially go to Florence and see the statue of David, or go to Rome and see the Sistine Chapel, it's the kind of stuff. I'm not even a huge fan of art. But
is David the one with his wiener out? And look at you, Red.
Matter of fact, he is.
Jenny, I did it, Jenny. Mission accomplished. He's red.
Yeah, Jenny would be really proud of you tonight.
I know. Blushometer. Yes, indeed.
Hey, Don, I think we're going to have to rename that word. Instead of blushometer, we're going to call it blue-shometer, BLUE. Because it's coming from my blue-haired friend over there.
I know. Yeah, I don't think I'm changing that blue anytime soon. I'm even buying only blue clothes from now on. So it's a pepperoni, not a wiener. Don said.
All right, now Don's making the blushometer go off.
Oh, we're wrong. We are wrong. So I can't believe it's time already. That half hour always goes by fast.
It
Um,
does.
we do have a plan going forward, a little bit of a plan I want everybody to watch out for. I'm working on where we are aiming for 100 episodes, and we are tonight, I think, is 84. So we're going to count down and have something big going on the 100th episode. So stay tuned, and we're going to have some more special guests and stuff as you get busier, which is bound to happen with all your success. I'm so happy
gets
for
kind of
you.
insane. So thank
Yeah,
you.
so awesome. Yeah, and of course, I'm happy for you because I'm happy for me because every time you get introduced, they say my name now. So
Yeah, and
my
every time I go speak anywhere, we don't just take the new book; we take all the books.
yeah, and see, I kind of love that. That's work for it's working for me.
It's working for you. That would still make a good sequel title. Right?
Yeah,
You know, we discussed a couple of others recently, but that's still my probably sentimental favorite. It's working for me.
it's working for me. Yeah, and you know what's funny when I tell that story, which I just told somebody yesterday, the setup of that. When I say that part, they think that's the end. That's the punchline. You know what I mean? And then and then I have the little bit at the end too.
It was the beginning.
Right. So
All
anyway,
right, kiddo.
thank you very much, sir. I appreciate your time always.
Love you
And
guys.
everybody stay tuned. We got big plans coming up. Thank you all very much. Love you all.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye. Yay.